Hello everyone, this is WCV5 Fan here, and today I'm going to talk about the Teletubbies episodes I remember seeing. So yeah. So I put these lists, so I'll talk about what parts of the episodes I remember, and yeah. So here we go. First up, because ice skating. The only thing I remember this episode is the controversial scene where the Teletubbies were holding hands together. So yeah. Rolling. I do remember the scene where Lala's ball gets stuck in a tree, but I kind of remember it happened before a magic event. Like what happened in Helicopter, where after that they go watch the 3 ships. So yeah. Music with Debbie 2. The only thing I remember this episode is the opening scene where the Teletubbies were running to the camera, they're running away from it. Amy's Pasta. Now I can officially say I did see this episode, because I do remember seeing an episode with the Stamping and Stepping Gets, where after that the voice trumpet was halfway up, but it was this episode that had it. I also kind of remember the opening scene with the voice trumpet in an indoor segment before the TV event. So yeah. Washing the car. Oh, I forgot to put Stonewall up here. Anyway, so washing the car. Hang on a second. Anyway, back to washing the car. I do remember the scene where an episode where the Teletubbies were doing their Tubby Smudges, and then a magic event happening after that, and which happens here. So it was this episode that had it. I thought it was flamenco dancing, which I do remember the main scene of that, which I'll talk about when I get to it. But nope, it was this episode. So yeah. Now Stonewall, I put a question mark here because I do remember seeing an opening scene where the Teletubbies, after they see the windmill spinning inside, they slide up. They go up the slide to see the windmill spinning to go watch a TV event. So yeah. Delilah packing. The only thing I remember this episode is the scene where Tinky Winky packs all the other Teletubbies' favorite things into his bag. Numbers 4. I put a question mark here because I do remember everything in this episode except the boo shutter. So yeah, I remember the conga line scene, the TV event, the sing a song of 4, the magic house, and the baby son giggling after that, or baby son screaming in excitement, as a matter of fact. So yeah. Colors Blue. Same thing with numbers 4. I remember everything except the boo shutter in the PBS version. It turns out the version I saw was the rerun airing, where instead of Dipsy being the boo shutter, Lala was. So yeah. Me and Ohio Teletubbies Universe both remember seeing it. Photo Faces. The only thing I remember this episode is the main scene where the chair appears. Okay, here's flamenco dancing. I do remember the main scene where the Teletubbies were washing their feet with their Tubby Smudges. But I thought I saw a magic event, but I don't think I did after this segment. So yeah. Funny walks. The only thing I might remember this scene where the Teletubbies were doing the funny walks of their own segment, with the windmill stopping after that, before the Teletubbies saying, uh-oh. I think I might have seen this episode, so yeah. Calls, not yet. Okay, here's Storming with Norris. Now, I can officially say I did see this episode. I do remember the scene where Tinky Winky dances on top of the house. I kind of remember the animal parade, but I do remember the Stamping and Stepping Against with the baby son doing her crescendo scream without her doing her sighing before she does the crescendo scream. So yeah. And yes, I do remember Lala was the boo shutter. Part of me, I thought it was Tinky Winky, but it was actually Lala. So yeah. Colors Orange. I put the Pledge Drive question mark here because I thought I think I've seen, because I think I remember seeing the scene where Lala plays with her orange ball with the windmill stopping after that. So yeah. Beach. Now, I don't think I saw this episode. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, let's move on to Squeezy Painting, where I do remember the scene where Poe tries to make Tubby Toast at the beginning, but gets interrupted by the windmill, and I do remember seeing an episode of the Stamping and Stepping Against the end with Tinky Winky being the boo shutter. It was this episode that had that. Sorry about that, guys. All right, Brennan's Moonwalk. I put a question mark here because I do remember seeing an episode. It was either this or Ballet, where I saw the episode where it ended with a dancing bear dances twice. I don't remember the baby son giggling after that. I kind of remember the windmill actually stopped spinning after that. So yeah, I think I might have seen Ballet, but I don't know though. Catholic dancing. I do remember the main scene where the Teletubbies were swapping their favorite things. Sand sailing. I do remember the scene where the Teletubbies were busy with their favorite things before they get blown away by the wind. Bagels. Anyway, let me take Towers out of here because I didn't see that one. Anyway, so bagels. I do remember the main scene for two reasons. The first is, I do remember the part where Tinky Winky comes indoors, he says uh-oh, and then Dipsy says uh-oh to him standing up, and then Lala and Po do it together at the same time sitting down. And it happened in this episode. And I also remember the dialogue of Ralph Saxon when he said, and then it was time for the Teletubbies to eat their tubby custard. So, yeah. Cat's Night Out. I think I've seen this episode because I do remember the main scene slightly, and the magic house taking place after that. I think it, and yes, I do remember it was the bottom left window with the windmill stopping after that. So yeah. Fancy Dress. The only thing I remember this episode is the scene where Tinky Winky pretends to be the king, and I know this because I remember the part where Ralph Saxon says "good friend Po," or his good friend Po, and he was referring to Tinky Winky, and it happened in this episode. So yeah. Circles. I do remember the main scene where Tinky Winky and Dipsy were having some tubby toast after being asleep. Game Drive. I put a question mark here because I kind of remember the main scene where Tinky Winky and Po were playing with a wagon. Numbers 10. I do remember pretty much everything in this episode. I kind of remember the opening scene, but I do remember the TV event, the scene with Teletubbies were playing a stand-up, sit-down game, the magic tree, the windmill stopping, and Lala being the boo shutter. Ballet. Much like I was talking about with Brennan's Moonwalk, I do remember seeing an episode where it had the dancing bear dancing twice with the windmill stopping after that. But I'm pretty sure it might have been this episode. I thought it was Brennan's Moonwalk, but I don't think it was. Drumming Taiwan. Now I do remember the main scene where I do remember the scene where the drum appears from Grand Old Duke of York, and I also remember the part where the first part of that segment was cut out, and it kept the part where Ralph Saxon says, "One day in Teletubby Land there was a strange noise." Leaves. I do remember the UK jumping TV event and the jumping dance taking place after that. Peacocks. I do remember the part where Lala kind of like hops down invisible steps in Teletubbies everywhere. Erhu Fiddle. I do remember the main scene. Not main scene. I do remember the part where the narrator counts 10 Lalas. Balloon Umbrella. I think I did see this episode because I do remember kind of remember seeing an episode where after the stamping and stepping dance at the end of the stepping dance, where after Lala poses and she says "yay," it just cuts straight to the baby son screaming without the doing her diminuendo scream, without the other Teletubbies posing. Although we do hear them giggling in the background, which happens here. So yeah. Snails. I do remember the scene where Po goes really fast with a scooter. I actually think I did see the bird's eye view windmill clip with the Magic Event tune being playing at the same time, the first part of Magic Event tune. And I do remember the magic tree with the stretching dance and the windmill stopping taking place after that, before the Teletubbies saying "uh-oh." So yeah. Lion Dance. I do remember the scene where Tinky Winky makes some tubby toast for the other Teletubbies, and the new tidies it up. So yeah. Sand Bottle. I do remember the swing. The only thing I remember is the swing scene. Actually, no. I think I do remember the bendy dance with the windmill stopping taking place after that as well. So yeah. Okay, here's Balancing Pots. Yes, I do remember seeing the on top and underneath TV event, and I also remember the magic tree with the windmill stopping, and the part where the voice trumpet's head was past its turning point when the camera fades to Tubby bye-bye, and Lala being the boo shutter. And yes, it did scare me when I saw it. So yeah. Getting Dressed. I'm not sure if I saw this episode because I might remember seeing an episode with the rocking dance taking place and the windmill stopping after that, but I don't think it happens here. Flower planting. The only thing I remember this episode is the Welly Walk TV event. So yeah. Numbers 1. I put the Teletubbies Everywhere version. I do remember, the only thing I remember this episode is the scene where the Teletubbies were told to smell a flower, go indoors and go up the slide one at a time. So yeah. And lanterns. I might remember the torches TV event, but I don't know though. So yeah. Anyway, so these are all the Teletubbies episodes I remember seeing. So thank you all for watching and have a great day.